What are my thoughts on the market going into May and the new Trump puppet who's going to take rates to 1%, which is our chance. This is everybody's chance that's been complaining about stuff to make it. Will they take the opportunity or not? You want to buy a house? Here comes your shot. Before I do so, come over to ZTRADEZ.net, check out our terms and conditions page. If you agree to it, feel free to join the community. If you don't agree to it, and as well as the newsletter, if you don't agree to it, don't watch this video, don't join the community, don't sign up for the newsletter, don't opt in. Let's jump into it. May, biggest catalyst. Powell is going to be out. Mr. Too late. It was too late to hike interest rates, right? We had to wait. We knew inflation was coming. We see the Biden admin. We see the Trump admin having overkill with 100K forgivable PPP loans for online T-shirt companies with one employee. You know it's happening. I understand it has to be off data and you can't just predict things and guess because that's not a good environment either. But in this scenario, you kind of had to. It was kind of obvious. Then you had the Biden admin restricting oil, the drilling for the companies when their 5-year term is up. Okay, we're going to reapply. Nope, you're denied, but we're going to buy it from Venezuela. What? Gas shot up to seven a gallon in California. It shot up everywhere. You cannot have an economy that runs well with low CPI without cheap energy. It is not happening, right? Oh no, well, I got the answer. We'll just make a whole bunch of middle class and poor people buy $70,000 EVs. No one's going to do that. And the insurance on them is like $900. My Model 3, I have a Model 3, and my insurance is $580 to $590 a month. On top of a $700 lease. You're going to do what? Didn't work. Failed, but it was kind of obvious that was going to fail. Biden admin didn't work with Powell at all. Biden admin did not work with the Fed. The Fed was kind of sweeping up the mess that the Biden admin created. And the same thing with Trump. The Trump admin had something to do with that as well with the overkill. So the Fed had to sweep up the mess that the Trump admin created. It didn't matter who was in, and the whole world, they did it in every other country, right? But it was overkill. That's what he can be blamed for. Biden admin knows what we're heading into and did everything they could to make it worse without knowing it would make it worse. This is why you cannot have lawyers. We don't need any more lawyers or career politicians we need business people that understand how things work in economics. So there's a lot of parties at fault. And then the third party, Trump admin, Biden admin, the Fed, we know inflation's coming. We're starting to see it in late 2020, early 2021. Wait. Let's wait another year. It's already starting to tick off. Let's wait. We'll wait another year. It's 2022. We're going to hike. No, not January, not February. All right, March, we'll start off with just 0.25%. That way it gets real juicy and it sticks and gets run away. What are you doing? Should have been doing quarter-point hikes in December of 2020, telling everyone, hey, we don't know, there's no inflation, just to be cautious here. We've got the job market back. We'll see where things go. Another quarter point if it gets worse. It's getting worse half point. It's getting worse 0.75 point. Getting worse a full point. Or you wait till it starts to tick up, which then it's too late because those indicators are delayed, which means it was there before that. You start off right out the gates with a 1-point hike. Next Fed meeting, another point hike. Next Fed meeting, another point, and another point, and you hold. And all those, we had 4 years to try to get it down. And it didn't work. Again, it's three parties involved here: the Fed, the Trump admin, and the Biden admin. And here we are. So at least inflation's ticking down a bit. Now it's ticking up a little bit, but it's ticked down since Orange Man has gotten in. Everyone's acting like this little dip in the last couple days on SPY, earlier this week, is like a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Where was everybody at in the April dip? It's because they're watching mainstream media. Watch the charts, understand what it is. It is not a war. It was simply tariffs, and they're never going to go through. Some of them will. The copper tariffs is One of the reasons we fell. It's going to make tech more expensive, which will hurt tech companies, which will affect them on their earnings, which means prices may go up, means it could be, which tech makes up the S&P. Unlike the 70s and 80s, regional banks and energy used to lead the market. Now it's tech. And we fell. And the technicals say we needed to fall, and they just wanted to connect to something. Give me a reason. I like that right there. I'll fall, right? I'll pull up the technicals on the daily. I mentioned it in the newsletter. Everyone's adding yearly longs. All right, fingers crossed, locked in. Like, we don't have September coming. You think Mr. Too Late's going to cut? He could. Is he? I mean, do we really have hope? Every time I do a vote, 100% of people vote no. Not that that matters, but we're kind of, it's dropped now to 80% chance. The only time I see them do anything is when it's 100% chance of cutting or 100% chance of hiking. It's always what will upset you, That's whatever it is at the time. So we have FOMC coming in September 17th. What follows September 19th? Quad witching, the most eventful quad witching of the year. Just like over here, September, drop. Where's the next September? February, March, April, August, November, September. Where are we? And September, and drop. 564 to 539. And there was the TA matched up here right as we started to tick back there. We can't look at 2025 because that's not a thing. We did 2023. September 2022, 410. Good Lord. Down to 356, a $60 move. If you would account the peak in October. Oh my gosh. That's a $60 move on something that's $400. Gosh, that was ridiculous. Yeah, look at that. A 1, 2, 3 with a gap up. Heading right into September. My gosh, could that have been a play there? So I don't think it did it in 2021 because everything was still, maybe it did. Nope, it did it. September, and we dropped. Yeah, right on quad witching. Look at this. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Let me zoom in on this a lot. There we go. Let's zoom in on this more. I zoomed in a little bit too much. September 17th FOMC. This is it. Quad witching. 445 to 428. Almost a $20 move in from one day to the next. $20 move. Can you imagine? We're in 2021, guys. We're in 2021. Let's go all the way back. I did 2021 to 2024. 2021, 2022, 2023, right? 2024, and we have 2025 with Mr. Too Late in. FOMC, they won't cut, in my opinion, followed by quad witching, which is going to be an eventful quad witching, which means we're going to fall 2 days later. Right? And you guys are out here, not you guys, but I'm seeing big names all over Twitter. For the short term, this is great. I added the dip as well. But no one's talking about what's coming. You don't know what quad witching is? Do you not know who Mr. Too Late is? I'm wondering if they nicknamed him, if now he's going to get angry and cut. He's leaving his term. All right, fine. Okay. Rates to -10. That's what you want? Rates to -10. He gets all mad. Powell's not going to do that, though. I don't know why someone would want that job. You Can't be in the market. You can't mess with any private equity, I don't think. Your salary's low, but at that point you're taken care of, and I would not want that. I just want to be, off doing my own thing, hanging out with friends across the country, quiet mountain towns, investing in private equity, selling cash secured puts, and taking high probability setups. Hammering right here, guys. Right there. Off this volume shelf. So in my opinion, we could possibly go up for the rest of the week. We could. Possibly next. There's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be anything significant, in my opinion. If anything, it'll be significantly down after we recover. Because keep in mind this right here. Bearish reversal pattern, low volume, gap, resistance. So I'm just trying to say, wait for the quad witching. We had one right here. We dropped in June, which was right in the middle of a flag, and I should have added there, at least here. I had it charted at least. This has been untouched since I charted it. So yeah, we could bounce up. I'm looking for us to come down into this range in September and possibly fill that gap in late September. And then this is the hard thing. Well, where do I add longs there? Every time I see in October, there's a rally up and then a giant drop again. So if in mid or late October we have a big drop, what if we just keep running up and then you miss it and you're waiting for the drop and it doesn't happen? You can judge the TA all you want, but then sometimes it could be driven off something else. They say, let's just go back here. I just want to go historically. I just know in November we boom. Here's November 1st. Look at this right here. November 1st, 570. This was elections. You can't necessarily count that. Again, though, we did go in November. You all remember that. That was insane. November 2023. There's October, late October. Now that's a setup. 1, 2, 3 steps down. And a setup. There's a bullish candlestick pattern, reversal pattern right there, just like CRWV is forming. A lower bar with two. Oh man. See, I could just add, I could have just simply added QQQ for February, right? For over in here. Some out of the monies. Well, it's SPY. Let's say I added SPY 500s when this thing's at 409. I had a $100 move. Can you imagine if you had held that? I'd want to be out by February, but the January boom is real. Here we are in December, November 30th. We're already up $50, and then into December. I wouldn't want to hold for FOMC this December because Mr. Too Late is going to do his thing. So I'd probably be out some, if not all, for FOMC. But I mean, even that's a $70-something move. A $60-something move. Imagine it moves $60 while you're in it. It's nuts. Then we have January up in here. Yeah, so I'd be out late December. Let's just take a look at that. That doesn't mean that's going to happen this year. This is a completely different year. Let's just take a look at November. There we go. October 10th. See, over here we had a run up November 1st. I mean, we had a decent run up. That's almost a $40 move with a dip. Gosh, this was crummy over in here. You just want to be buying the lows, it looks like. Getting in on the lows, I should say. Let's look at November. Here's October. We are on the 100 here, so there was actually a technical setup. There's September, October. We're on the 100. That was a TA setup right there, October 14th. Right, we ran up into November. There's another TA setup right there. But that's FOMC though, so we fell. So you'd obviously want to be out there. So it looks like I want to be out in December. After that, we boom into Christmas for the Santa rally. Right, so if you were caught holding a bag, the Santa rally should probably save you. up into early January. Just got to play the TA. Let's just keep going back. Of course, in 2021, we were going to run. Where's, that was 2021. Obviously, we're going to run here. I don't even know if I can use this. There we go. Late October with a drop. There's usually a drop in late October. So you want to look for big drops in October. And we usually have a rally up. We have a drop in October. Start adding for February just so I have time. But I mean, look at that. Just in 10 days. October 28th, 29th, 324 by 12 days later, we moved $40 on SPY all the way into, yeah, with a move like that, I could take out my initial investment, a little bit of profit, and let the rest ride until FOMC, which is over in here. And we're up. I'd want to be up probably 5 days before, even in early December at 370 from 325. I mean, that's a huge move. What is that? $45 move on SPY. I mean, even if you had a $10 move, those cons are going to move violently. So, got a plan. Then we have February. We boom in June. We usually pull back in February. In January, the run up was huge in January. There's usually a pullback in February. Usually, not always. That's a coin toss. But I think we're going to run into May. Orange Man's new Fed chair is going to be a puppet. And that puppet is going to do what he says. He says 1% interest rates. That's going to be a separate video on what I'm going to be looking at for 1% interest rates. That one's easy. And things are going to get inflated. And I'm already seeing certain stocks price in that this is happening way before it happens. And it's like I pull it up thinking, okay, we're what? 5, 8 months out. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Wait, 10, 11, 12, 8 months out. Let's go ahead and pull it up early. And it's already, they're like, nope, it's already happened. And I'm before you because they know that I'm going to be getting, everybody else is going to be getting early. I want to get them before those people who want to get them before those people. So, but I'm waiting for September to add some positions that are going to be interest rate sensitive, where we could possibly see a fantastic catalyst into 2026 when Mr. Too Late gets out and they have an emergency meeting and they start taking interest rates down by 1 point a quarter. That could cause, and they say, hey, we're probably going to cut the rest of this year and into next. And we see 2026 just rally like mad. Could happen. Could have the opposite effect. If the catalyst is really intense and we, let's say SPY sees 700, and it may be a buy the event or buy the catalyst, sell the event type situation, as I would call it. We'll see. At the end of the day, some stocks are just going to simply go off that and some bonds, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. And then I have to figure out outside the market what I'm going to do here. You know, if I wanted another house, this is it. You going to pull the trigger or not? Just like in COVID, I was like, I have to. This is the lowest mortgage rates have ever been. I don't have an option. I've got to do it. And I did it. And it worked out. I'm still locked in at 2.8, which is why I can't get out right now. So if you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more. This was a massive info dump of me thinking out loud and possible scenarios. And again, if you like this content, like, follow, newsletter below, community below.